And a
Yes.
really good mustache, too.
A very good
Very good
mustache.
mustache. I kept thinking that the whole time.
Yep. Welcome to Holiday Film Countdown. I'm Jamie Walter, and today we are going to Michigan.
That's right. This film is Prancer, our 39th ranked holiday film. Hello, I'm Tim Walter. I mean, we've always had animal shelters, but perhaps the pet rescue world we know now emerged out of this film. Also, those memes about the toughness of 80s kids, watch this film and you'll believe them all.
Our first guest is Brooke Stockmaster. Hello, Brooke. Please tell us what you're drinking and give us a quick thought on Prancer.
I am drinking iced vanilla latte from Mama's Java in Nolensville, Tennessee. And my quick thought on Prancer would be that it was a very cute family holiday film.
All right, and our other guest is Evelyn Dryburgh. Hi, Evelyn. What are you drinking, and what's your initial thought on the film?
Hi, I am drinking a chai tea latte from
Mama's Java.
Mama's Java in Nolensville, Tennessee. And I also thought Prancer was a very cute, wholesome movie.
Well, I'm drinking a Hazy IPA from Mill Creek, which is a brewery here in Nolensville, Tennessee. And I also thought it was a very wholesome movie.
Okay, and I am also drinking the Juicy Days Hazy IPA from Mill Creek Brewery. This film made the list because it's well made and it's a twist on the traditional tale. Back then it would have been top 20, but over the years many have surpassed it, so now it's barely in the top 40.
Prancer was written by Greg Taylor and directed by John Hancock. Greg Taylor also wrote Jumanji.
Prancer was released in 1989, the same year as National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. The primary exterior shots were filmed in Three Oaks, Michigan, with additional shots in LaPorte and New Carlisle, Indiana, plus Starved Rock State Park in Illinois. 8-year-old Rebecca Harrell plays the lead character, with Sam Elliott and Cloris Leachman also starring. We will discuss these actors and characters later.
I would say it's the exact opposite of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, even though it was released in the same year. Brooke, what is your history with Prancer?
I have never heard of it before today.
Okay.
And Evelyn, what's your history with Prancer?
Same here. This is the first time I've heard of it and watched it, but I'm glad I did, honestly.
Well, that's great to hear.
This is also my first time, so we're all newbies.
Okay. I had seen it back when it first came out. It was on cable all the time, and back then we didn't have that many choices for Christmas films. The Santa Claus wasn't out yet, Elf, whatever. So we watched what we could find, and it was on.
All right, let's check out the trailer.
This holiday, Christmas everywhere will depend on Jessica Riggs. It all started when an afternoon's adventure led to an evening's discovery.
Oh, it's just like this one, Prancer.
And a magical time began. Now, she's the only one in the world who believes.
Prancer's in the shed near my house.
Prancer, a Christmas adventure for the whole family.
All right, I feel like the trailer made the movie look even better than it was, only because it can't show that the movie was so dark. What do you think, Brooke?
Yeah, I do think the trailer looked a little better than the actual movie did, but it did a good job highlighting like the role the reindeer would play in it, like because it was the star of the movie, basically.
True. I feel like it made it feel like it could be almost a comedy. Like it looked like it was funny, for example, when the reindeer's in the house smashing the, but when you're watching it, it's not a comedy at all.
Evelyn, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I definitely felt like it portrayed it in a different light than it is brought when you actually watch it. Yeah, it also just kind of shows the reindeer throughout that whole trailer, and the reindeer's not in like the whole movie. Like Jamie said, it's not necessarily the main character.
Yeah, I agree with your phrasing in that the trailer was in a whole new light because the film was really pretty much dark.
Very.
I mean, it's like someone with the studio said, we can't market this like it is. Let's make it look like some fun kids film and lighten it up. We watched the trailer on the same screen that we watched the film on. And It was so much lighter for the trailer.
Right. So I feel like the trailer did exactly what it was supposed to do because it grabbed my attention. And if I was just looking at the trailer, I'd be like, oh, yeah, let's grab the family and watch this film.
Yeah, it even had lighter music, and the narrator was joyful.
Yeah, it's
Correct.
definitely that 80s themed trailer.
So let's go inside the numbers. Prancer cost $7 million to make, and it grossed $19 million at the box office for a net profit of around $12 million. So they pretty much doubled their money. That $7 million in profit would equate to about $30 million in today's dollars. So well worth the effort for the studio.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you the number 19. That's how many times Jessica says the name Prancer in this film. And finally, this film has a score of 3.1 on Letterboxd, and we'll all give our own scores later. So what do you all think of the numbers?
Well, what do you think? 7 million, is that about average for the time? Would you say 1989? Do you think that's about average for a film? Because
Incredibly low.
that's nothing. Yeah. I guess there wasn't a whole lot of star power, right?
Not really.
No, and there wasn't like a lot of different scenes, different areas the
Right.
movie was shot. There was maybe like 4 different sceneries for it. So it's just a little weird how expensive it was versus,
It was mostly outdoors, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So they didn't have to build a lot of interior sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much just the school and the church.
The house,
The house.
barn, that's about it.
The other lady's house.
Right. You could just film all this in any small town, pretty much.
Yeah.
And with where they filmed and how it looked, I don't think they had to spend much on fake snow either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it did.
Plus, it seemed to be minimal CGI, like maybe 12 seconds at the very end. That's about it.
True.
Yeah, I liked that fact that the reindeer was real and everything else was real.
Yes, very much so.
All right, let's get into that then about the reindeer being real. How do you think it did as far as the Christmas spirit? Did you feel the spirit of the season watching this movie, Brooke?
In parts. Mainly when they started dressing the reindeer up, it made it feel more holiday than when it was just kind of out in the woods, wounded, when they found it. But once it started picking up pace a little bit, I felt more in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I liked the way it started off at the very beginning where they're raising up the plastic reindeer to go across, I guess it's Main Street of the town, and Prancer falls to the ground and cracks. But it's kind of like the classic scene that, at least I think in my head, of a small town decorating for Christmas time.
Definitely. There's your big budget item there. Dragging the plastic reindeer out of the old storage shed.
Yeah.
Right. But they did put up Christmas lights towards the end, though. The little girl, Jessica, put up the Christmas lights, but not at her house. It was at the neighbor's house,
Yes.
the lady that she was trying to make money from. She put her lights up, but there wasn't a whole lot of Christmas lights. Like their house was not decorated at all.
Definitely a different era.
Well, times were hard. Yeah,
Yeah,
times were
sure.
very hard.
But there also didn't seem like a lot of houses were decorated as much, especially even if that one lady was supposedly the wealthier one.
Right.
It didn't look like the church was decorated much, or it's kind of like that.
Right, and that made the Christmas spirit of the movie kind of decline, if you ask
Yeah.
me.
Definitely.
Maybe it was in a time where Christmas wasn't so commercialized, you think? 1989?
Yeah, but even the Lampoon's Christmas, like that is very well lit up and
Very true.
decorated. So if it's made at the same time, then you'd think that there'd be more Christmas decorations in Prancer.
Very.
Clark Griswold was a trendsetter.
Maybe.
Yes, he is. And maybe, too, they kept it out of it because it definitely portrays the hardship that these people are going through.
That's true.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
and they used a pregnant reindeer, so that's a female. So female reindeer do have antlers, and they use them because they're calmer than the males.
Mm.
They chose to go with a pregnant female because they keep their antlers longer, and that way they wouldn't fall out in the middle of filming.
Oh, I didn't know female reindeer had antlers.
Not everyone, but certain kinds
Oh.
do.
Oh,
Not all kinds.
that's cool.
Yeah,
You're used to white-tailed deer.
right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The ones farther north.
Yeah, like the kind that live north of Tennessee.
Yeah, north of Minnesota too, in Canada, Alaska. Reindeer and elk are the same thing, right?
Deer and elk have different antlers, but I think reindeer and caribou may be the same.
Right. I think you're correct. Caribou.
Okay.
Caribou would be like the ones you see in Alaska.
Okay, gotcha.
So what do we think of Santa in this one?
I thought Santa was funny. I thought it was kind of funny, that scene of Santa.
Yeah, she just grabs the beard and she's like, I know you're not the real Santa.
Yeah, it's a typical mall Santa with the
Yeah.
gray beard. It was very obvious that it's not the real thing. It was not a real beard. You know, he had darker eyebrows. It just looked all around fake. The perfect fake mall Santa.
Does it remind you of the Santa and Elf?
No.
I mean the mall Santa and Elf.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely chubbier.
Fit more of the typical Santa body. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
more of the Santa body. And yeah, this one actually had his beard closer to his nose than the one in Elf, where it just has it down to its chin.
Right.
Aren't you, little girl?
I'm sorry, I don't have any time for chit chat. I know you're not the real Santa.
Whoa! Of course I am.
But can you get this letter to him?
Why don't you just put a stamp on it and drop it in the mailbox?
It's too late for that. Please believe me, this is a matter of utmost importance. Prancer's in the shed near my house. I plan to take him to Antler Ridge on December 23rd midnight.
All that's in the letter?
Here's a picture of him. That way Santa will know you're telling the truth.
Do you think he'd doubt me?
Admit it, you're not the real Santa.
Okay. Keep it to yourself.
Can you help me?
And I did notice a red pickup truck, which has become a Hallmark movie signature element. Do you all watch Hallmark Christmas movies? This was way before Hallmark.
My mom loves Hallmark, so
Hallmark Christmas film?
oh yeah, those are her favorite every year.
So you know the red pickup trucks.
Yeah, it's a typical Christmas vehicle. Are you kidding?
Well, maybe that originated in this film.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe.
Trendsetters.
Yeah, let's give them some credit. Now it's time to get into the characters and actors. 8-year-old Rebecca Harrell plays Jessica Riggs, and even though she's not in the cover of the DVD, she's clearly the star of this film.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca Harrell is now an environmental film producer and director, and in that business, she works alongside her husband. Their best known work is the film The Big Fix about the BP oil spill in the Gulf about 15 or so years ago. How'd she do here?
Very interesting. I thought she did great. I thought you could see the hope on her face. You know, that she was hopeful for the Christmas magic. What do you think, Brooke?
I think since she was still a little girl, I think she did really well for her age and everything. She definitely made all the emotions like they were felt real when she was doing them.
Yes, yeah. For her age, she did a phenomenal job. She was like an annoying child. She brought out that like begging, the whining a lot. And I don't know if that's just acting or if that's how she is, but I thought that it really portrayed that character and that child in that film.
I agree, that was great for an 8-year-old.
Yeah, I think it's pretty typical of a child when they want something, you know, not letting go of it till it actually happens.
Yes, exactly.
And she definitely made things happen.
She delivered a good cry at the end.
Yeah, she
It's a
did.
good skill for an actor.
Just for an actor, right, Brooke? Then we have John Riggs, who is played by Sam Elliott. He has appeared in around 50 films and over 70 TV shows. His voice is so distinctive that most people know him from somewhere. I'd say Sam Elliott is somewhat of a character actor, although he would almost certainly not want to be called a character actor. And to his credit, he was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor in 2019 in the remake of A Star is Born. He is a spokesperson for Coors Beer, so you might recognize that voice from commercials. Sam Elliott has appeared in Mask, Tombstone, The Big Lebowski, and numerous other films. I probably know him best from the movie Roadhouse, released in 1989, where he starred alongside Patrick Swayze. It seems like it's always on somewhere, and I can't help but watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you all know Roadhouse at all?
I do not.
Either.
Of course I do.
We've got to get you there.
All right.
How about the remake?
I don't think so.
I heard you could skip the remake.
Okay, perfect.
How did he do in this film?
I think he did well. I mean, his voice definitely did stand out to me. I was like, oh, that's also sound like a typical father voice too. The stern dad voice, definitely. But I think he did well.
How about you, Evelyn? What did you think of Sam Elliott in this film?
Yeah, he definitely portrayed his character very well in the sense of like the struggling dad just trying to give everything he can to his kids, getting frustrated over little things, but still trying to hold it back. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, he definitely has the voice and the look, right? I mean, he has
Oh,
that
yeah.
rugged look, like he's been through some things. Obviously, his character was struggling in this film, and he can definitely give that look, and that voice comes across as stern, like Brooke said, the dad figure. Even just like the rough kind of, well, they live like, I don't know if it's a farm, but they have a barn
It
and they have
seemed like a
cows and horses. So I guess it is a farm. He definitely has that look about him, the cowboy look, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. He's the full package here.
The struggle was real.
Yes.
And a really good mustache too.
A very good
Very
mustache.
good mustache. I kept thinking that the whole time.
Yep.
So we have Mrs. McFarland, the neighbor, played by Cloris Leachman. She was in around 100 films and over 200 TV shows, including Lassie in the 1950s, and then The Mary Tyler Moore Show in the 70s, and her own spin-off of The Mary Tyler Moore Show called Phyllis. She's also appeared in the films Young Frankenstein, History of the World Part 1, and most importantly, Bad Santa, which appears later in our countdown. What did you all think of her?
She looks so familiar.
Yeah, that kind of a face.
Yeah, like I feel like I've seen some of her shows and everything, but I don't know, I couldn't put the characters to the face. But I thought that she could have had a bigger part in this movie, but like she had very few lines.
She was the one who put the Christmas lights up, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay. Yeah, I think she could have had a bigger role. I did like the subtle of her ending up at the church later. I feel like that was a cute little kind of thing to bring in of their character, but I think she did pretty well. She kind of had like a full circle moment in a way with that because she was like the grouchy neighbor, and then all of a sudden she wasn't really that grouchy.
Yeah, like Scrooge, but not really.
Yeah, we also had this in Home Alone with the older, distant, seemingly mean neighbor who, in the end, turns out to have a heart and ultimately become a friend of the child.
Yeah, she definitely was the right person to play this role because she has that face about her. Like at first, when the two girls, Jessica and her friend, were sliding down the sled and they messed up her flowers, and she's yelling out at them, and she's got this bright red lipstick on and kind of scary looking makeup, okay, just because it was so heavy. You're like, ooh, yeah, you're a little scared of that neighbor. But then in the next sense, when she's at the door, when Jessica's at the door, asking her, can I do chores? I'll clean any room for $5. And you realize, oh, she has a heart. She's really just a sweet little old lady who maybe can't see that well and she puts on too much makeup. But she's not that scary, right? So I felt like, oh, that's the perfect, because at first you're a little scared of her, just like the kids running away from her. But then in the end, she's the one with the heart paying Jessica for cleaning the attic out. And then you see her at church. Again, like Evie said at the end of the film.
And then we have Dr. Benton, who is the large animal veterinarian who reluctantly helps out. He is played by Abe Vigoda, and you all are way too young to know who Abe Vigoda is. Abe Vigoda was on the late 70s sitcom Taxi, and then a show called Fish, and then most importantly, he appeared in The Godfather.
I really didn't know what to think about his character. I mean, Jessica ran to him. You got to help me. I have an animal. And he's like basically blowing her off, like, get out of here, kid, and she, again, won't let up with it. She's begging and begging. You got to, you got to. And then he does. I don't know. He just,
It was the 80s.
yeah, it was the 80s.
Yeah. I would say I didn't like him at first. I was like, oh, typical grouchy old man. But then when he actually kind of came through at the end, like when he actually did help the deer, I was like, okay, maybe he's not so bad, but he still was like, eh.
Yeah, you can kind of see that theme throughout,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I understood him because he was exhausted, because I know working with farm animals is exhausting. And then he was going to do this for free out of the kindness of his heart. And so, and just her not letting up kind of convinced him. And so I thought he was fine the whole time.
Well, you're right, because he did say, I've been up all night with a pregnant, what animal was it?
Yeah, and then a crazy horse, a pregnant cow.
A pregnant cow all night. So, yeah, I guess, that you can see where he's coming from. He's tired.
It's true.
He's worn out.
I'd probably do the same thing. Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, and just having a young child come up to you asking about help for a reindeer, it seems like it could be made up or imaginary. Who knows?
Yeah. But I don't think she mentioned a reindeer until
She
he
didn't.
actually got there.
Yeah, that's why he was like, I thought you said there was an animal.
There was
Or
I
like
think he
a
assumed
domestic.
It was a cow.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, do we have any minor characters that stood up? Maybe someone who came out of nowhere and stole the show? What do you think?
I think her, Jessica's friend Carol with her
I
hair.
put her down too. Oh, not the hair, but I just put her down.
Her hair really caught my eye. I was like, oh, that's a typical hairstyle for that time, wasn't it? In the way, kind of. Not really, but
A little. It's puffy on
was out
top
there,
and
yeah.
long at the bottom. Yeah, that was some kind of hair right there.
it threw me off. And then it's the only thing I could think about. But she was also a good friend in a way too. But I was like, oh, the hair really caught my eye.
Everything comes back around. You get a chance to do that hair.
Perfect. I can't wait. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I loved Carol. That first half of the movie, though, I did thought she had like a really bad mullet.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's
Yeah.
like the girl version, right? It's long in the back and short on the top and the front.
right. I couldn't decide if they were bangs at first or not.
Yeah, me neither. But I just thought she was fun and sassy, almost just like comedic relief in the movie.
You're right. In a film with very little comedy, you need Carol.
Yeah,
Yes.
true. You need Carol.
Yes.
No, but I have my favorite character as John Riggs, just because of the fact that he portrayed his part well. And then I also thought Steve was a character in there. I wasn't really a huge fan of him because he just played that brother figure, and I was just like, oh,
Can you identify with that at all?
yeah, I can, actually.
I think Brooke has an older brother also.
I do. I felt that a little bit, except Grant and I were never really, we never fought when we were younger like that, so I didn't get it too much. But I got it towards the end when they started working together, and he was like, "Get on your post, stay on your post." I related to that.
Yeah, see, like the tough love. Mm-hmm. I relate to that part.
Hey, it prepares you for the real world, right?
True.
No, my favorite character was the deer, honestly. I wrote that down. The deer was my favorite character because I just thought, I found it kind of funny and just it was just there. It was just deer.
It was just deer.
It was just a deer, reindeer.
Yeah, but they did a good job of the shots that they would take on it, the up close to the face. They have big eyes, almost like puppy dog eyes, right? And so you kind of felt like something in your heart. I don't know if there is really anything behind those eyes, but like puppy dog eyes almost. So I see what you're saying, Brooke.
Yeah, and just the way that they trained it too, like it did really well at just circling or messing up the house. I mean, that's probably could probably do that pretty easy, but yeah.
It was gentle with the little girl, and
It was
it laid down in certain spots when it needed to. So
Right. They ate those cookies with ease.
that's right. All those Christmas cookies, goodness. Do we want to move on to the scenes now? Let's see. Well, I think it's how it starts out. The movie starts out with the little kids in the schoolhouse singing. And, of course, Jessica's belting it out, and the other kids are making faces at her. And then the teacher has to tell her, sing a bit softer, because she's just like letting it all out, Maybe not the best voice, but she's still singing with heart.
Yeah, they definitely established right away that Jessica has got the spirit.
Yes, that's
Yes.
definitely
Yeah.
what they were doing.
Yeah, I do that too sometimes in the car with people. I like to belt it out even if it don't sound that good. I'd be like, calm
You're
down
feeling
over there.
it. You're feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was feeling it.
Yeah, Evelyn can relate.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
Okay.
But in all, the scenes were like so down. Like at a certain point, I was just like, wow, is this movie ever gonna liven up a little? It was very, like we said earlier, had a dark side. It was just such a heavy, everyone seemed like they had their own issues, their own problems in the world, whether it's financial or just, I mean, obviously the family had financial problems, but also the mother had passed away. So they were dealing with, him not having his wife and the kids not having their mother is very hard and very heavy.
So what's sadder, a young girl taking a cup of tea to a picture of her dead mother,
Oh gosh, yeah.
or a young girl telling her dad that she wished her mom was there instead of him?
That
Which one?
the second that she wished her mom was there instead of him, because he's just trying his best.
Yeah.
It was really sad to me.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really sad too. Which I think it was sad that obviously her mom was not there, but he was doing his best. He was even going to send her to stay with her aunt just to give her that motherly figure so that way she could grow up and know what it's like.
Yeah, I agree with you. Of course, you're going to be sad when your mother is gone, no matter what. So giving tea to the frame picture of her mother is almost, I don't want to say typical, but expected maybe. But then her telling her dad, I wish it was you instead of mom, that's pretty harsh.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all know that she was a sweet little girl just going through a hard time. She didn't really mean it. It was just, I don't know, it was definitely a time when I felt like before kids were really the main focus of life, It was still more of be seen, not heard, or is that the right phrase for children? Because she kind of I felt like she was being blown off by a lot of the characters at the beginning, like, ugh, Jessica,
Yeah.
And even with the father, and I know he was trying his best and he had a lot of, hardship going on there. But you kind of got this feel that she was more of a nuisance to him than, than pleasure having around.
Right. He was always getting on to her, yelling at her. She couldn't really do anything right. Which
Right.
kind of added to the kind of like, it's kind of sad part of the film too.
Right.
Pretty tough on an 8-year-old.
Definitely.
Right. She don't know better.
Do any other memorable scenes come to mind? How about the funniest scene?
Oh, I thought the funniest was when the dad was reading the paper and the reindeer was just outside. He was peering in the window. It was
Yeah, you keep seeing it walking by
right,
the
yeah.
window.
Yep, that made me laugh because I was just like, oh, because as soon as he'd look, it would be gone.
But he could feel the presence, but
Yes.
could never catch it with his eye.
Yes, yes. I thought that was really funny.
I agree with that. I was thinking that one, but also the part where Jessica tells Carol, "You're not my friend anymore," and just like, because Carol didn't agree with what she said. I thought that was so funny because that was like typical child. Like, I know I've done that. Like, I've just told someone, "You're not my friend anymore," because they didn't agree with me or like they contradict my opinion. Like, I thought that was so funny.
Yeah, it's true. It's a typical for their age, right?
Yeah,
To be like, well,
exactly.
if you don't agree with me, I can't be a friend with you
Yeah.
anymore. Wait a second, that might sound like some adults these days, but but definitely with children for sure. I thought this scene where Jessica hears the dad and the aunt talking, and the aunt says, "Have you told her yet?" And we don't know what she's talking about. Jessica doesn't know what she's talking about. And it really spiked my curiosity of like, well, what are they talking about? Tell her what? And then she didn't say, "Did you tell the kids yet?" Because there was a brother also. She said, "Did you tell her yet?" Right? So it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah, a clever way to lead you along.
I agree. I liked that scene just because it gave me some curiosity, because I will have to say I found it so dark, and certain points of it I was a little like, can we move further along now? I mean, it was definitely slow for movies these days. Yeah, it was slow, right? It was a little slow, but then I think in hindsight, it's kind of the purpose of the film to move slow.
Right.
Because that's the way the town was, right? That was life, I think, for them.
I definitely laughed at the sledding scene early in the film.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a sort of lighter, funner scene. Well, until she couldn't steer her sled because it was broken, and then she ran into the flowers. Well,
Got yelled at.
had to go apologize.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. But I did like when she went back after she did apologize when she cleaned the room for her, and she walked in and she was like, she offered $5 for it to get paid $5 for it, and then she's like, "This is a $10 job."
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah, after
was
she
cute.
sees the room. Was it the attic? That's what I was thinking.
I
But
think
no,
she was
because
moving stuff to the attic. I think
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
That's where she found the Christmas lights.
it looked like a storage room, though, right? Or maybe
like a
she
junk room.
she had used it as a storage room, but it was not the attic. You're right. You're right.
All right, well, let's move on to quotable lines. Does anyone have any?
I couldn't remember the exact quote, but I did think it was funny when she was sitting on the typical mall Santa's lap, and she's like, "I know you're not the real Santa, so give this to the real Santa." Like,
Yeah,
come
her
on,
letter.
like be a messenger. Like, that I thought that was pretty memorable, but
Yeah, or the van just showing up to their house and being like, hope we're not intruding, as they're already out and like going through their barn and looking inside the house and all this stuff.
Right.
Like, you're already intruding.
True. I think I have to go back to the beginning that I already said when the teacher's like, "Could you sing a bit quieter?"
did you relate to that as a teacher?
No, not really. Maybe more as the child. I would be the ones belting it out when I shouldn't be.
I'll go back to a particularly striking line, and it's when Jessica tells Dr. Benton, "Doctors always lie."
Oh, yeah. That hurt.
Oh, I didn't even pick up on that.
You didn't?
No.
That was pretty gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub salt in those wounds, right? Another memorable line from me is when Mr. Riggs tells Steve, "If you're going to eat like an animal, go in the barn." That's a very 80s thing to say. I was told that a lot.
Oh.
All right. Well, do we want to get to the moral of the story? All right. Let's bring it out. It was pretty much throughout, I feel like the whole film was don't give up on hope. That things kind of look down, but as long as you don't give up, they can turn around. And I think we found that at the beginning with her. First was going to have to move to live with her aunt, but then in the end, the dad was like, "No, no, no, I want you here with me." Even down to maybe the singing, because at school she had to sing a bit quieter, but then when she went to church, she was belting it out at church, and the teacher turned around and winked at her for singing so loud at the church. I felt like the whole moral of the story is just keep going along. Things will get brighter. What do you think?
No, I agree with that for sure. And I also, I'll agree. It's like perseverance, keep going. Don't give up even when people are kind of fighting against you in a way. When things don't go your way, keep trying.
Don't lose the faith, the hope.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I have any different theme than that. Because even the newspaper article that kind of messed her plan up a little bit, it still kind of said, like, she has this hope and we all need to be like her because she believes in this.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you all in that a childlike, hopeful attitude could uplift a dreary situation and even brighten up a dreary small town.
Yeah, it gave hope to the whole town.
True.
And they were excited. They all wanted to go see Prancer, the reindeer, too, right? It gave them something to look forward to and, I don't know, I guess a little hope in the air for a struggling time.
Okay, hot takes. Does anyone have any hot takes from this film?
This is a hard one to have a hot take, I feel like, because it's just the seriousness of it. I was trying to find one, but
I was thinking really hard. I was like, what would be a good one? I couldn't find anything, really.
I have an obscure one. So when they're talking about how they have apples and they'll never go hungry, and they can make apple pie, apple strudel, baked apples, whatever. It kind of reminds me of Bubba from Forrest Gump when he says all the things they can make with shrimp, like shrimp cocktail, boiled shrimp, fried shrimp,
Oh, yeah.
shrimp gumbo, all of that. So maybe the makers of Forrest Gump borrowed from this film. I know it's a bit of a reach, but this one came out first.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Again, possibly a reach, but somewhat of a hot take. Or a warm take.
Warm takes.
takes.
Yeah.
Lukewarm.
I mean, maybe you could, okay, tell me if I'm stretching it.
Okay.
Maybe you could say that the brother really wanted her out of the picture. And so he helped her go through with her little shenanigans with the reindeer just to get her in trouble. I know I'm reaching.
That's
I
really
don't-
dark.
I don't think he
Well-
wanted her to leave because he was trying to talk her out of it.
Oh,
wasn't he?
true.
And he
Like,
was
and
like,
he
"Why
was
you-"
like, I love you. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but I do.
I think he was fine with her getting in trouble, but not with her getting sent away.
Yeah.
All right. Stretching it there. Okay, well, the parent guide is G. And I absolutely agree with G because there was nothing in this movie that wouldn't be appropriate for anyone. I think kids could handle it. It's a little sad, but it's real life that the mother had passed away. So I think G is appropriate rating.
I agree.
Me too.
I'll note that this is the first, but not our only G-rated film in the countdown.
Wow, an honor. An honor to be on the first.
Well, we are honored to have you.
We are.
And would you watch this film with your parents?
I would watch
Comfortably.
Comfortably, yes. Comfortably, I would watch this with my parents. I wouldn't feel like I had to leave the room at any point.
No distractions.
No distractions.
I'd watch this with my parents, my mom, and probably dad too. They'd start bawling, but yeah.
There's a good chance that your parents have already seen this movie.
Possibly. I'll probably text them right after this and then be like, hey,
Ask
have you
'em.
seen this?
Tell them to wait if they haven't till you get home for Christmas. She's like, nah.
Yeah, no, pass. I don't like to see my parents cry.
Aw.
What a good daughter.
Thanks.
All right, let's move on to the soundtrack. This is a very interesting soundtrack, by the way. All of the singing was done by the cast members as they played their parts. There were no outside songs in the traditional sense. There was orchestral background music throughout, and then at the beginning we had kids singing O Little Town of Bethlehem and Silent Night at the pageant. And then we had people at the church singing Hark the Herald Angels Sing and How Great Thou Art. And then finally we have all of the people from the town gathering outside of Jessica's window and singing O Tannenbaum or O Christmas Tree. Maybe it was an effort to make it feel down home and simple, sort of minimalistic, but we had not seen this before.
No.
Do you think that had to do with budget?
I think it helped the budget. Yeah, for sure.
But I still don't know how they spent so much.
Those are really good points.
Thank you. Put my noggin to work.
And natural. All right. Well, Brooke, if you have to rate this, which you do, 1 to 5, 5 being the best, what would you rate it and why?
And remember, you can use decimals. And it's a 3.1 on Letterboxd.
Okay. I think, personally, I would probably rate it 2.7. Just because when I watch a holiday movie, I kind of want it to be more uplifting and more fun and a little more comedy in it. So I would have to go a little under the rating that it has on Letterboxd.
Very good. And you, Evelyn, how would you rate Prancer?
I would give it a 4.0, honestly, because, I mean, It's a Wonderful Life may have a lot of uplifting end, but throughout the movie, that one's depressing. Like,
You're right. You're
and
right.
so that is a very good movie. It's one of my favorites. And I think I would give it a 4 because you just kind of have to search for that deeper meaning. You have to search for that, what Christmas is about kind of thing.
And being from Minnesota, I'm guessing that you could relate to that climate.
Yes, yeah, I definitely could. Like there was a pond frozen over and she just kind of like scooted across that and I've done that before and all the snow and just trudging through that. I relate to that.
That's awesome.
It is. I think I'm going to go with a 3. I'm going to give it a 3 because, again, I like the message. I like the moral of the story, but it was dark. And I'm going to have to agree with Brooke. I tend to want to be, I want it to be a little humorous. I want it to be uplifting at Christmas time. I guess I'm going to have to say maybe a couple of tears were shed from me during this film. And I kind of want it to be more, even though it was a good feel good at the end, I still walked away feeling a little gloom, I guess. Glum would be the right word after watching it.
Okay, well, we have quite a range here on this one. I'm going to go ahead and give Prancer a 3.1. I feel like it's well made. I like Sam Elliott and the characters. The acting's good. It is a little glum, and sometimes it drags. And it's rated G, so it kind of is made for kids, yet I don't know if modern kids would really be drawn to it, again, due to the pace. So yeah, I'll go ahead and stick with a 3.1.
So, Brooke, would you recommend this film? And if so, to whom would you recommend it?
I don't think I would recommend it just because I feel like anyone I would recommend it to, I feel like they'd go back and be like, Brooke, why'd you recommend a sad holiday movie to me? And I'd be like, I'm sorry.
So, no one you know would appreciate it.
I really don't think so.
Gotcha.
Brooke, do you ever listen to sad girl music?
All the time.
Just checking.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you, Evelyn?
I'd recommend it. I'd recommend it to a lot of my family too, because we kind of like the search for a deeper meaning in movies. So I'd recommend it to a lot of people.
Controversy.
That's good. I like it. Hey, we're here for real opinions.
I know, I like it. I would recommend it maybe to people of my generation or older. I don't think that young kids, like Brooke said, or maybe you said it, Tim, would sit through it. It is a little slower. It's not very fast paced. So, yeah, I think that's what you said. But maybe to an older generation.
Yeah, I would agree and say that it's pretty much a period piece now. And you might watch it if you wanted to see how tough kids were back in the 80s. Or if you've already seen the other 38 films ahead of it on our countdown, or maybe just have it on in the background while you're, I don't know, wrapping gifts or getting your house ready for company. But it's probably for the older generation who will sit through a slower, longer film. And you're going to have a hard time getting younger people to sit through it like our polite guests today did, though we did kind of bribe them with Mama's Java iced coffee.
Okay, so with that being said, Brooke, what is your favorite holiday film?
I'm going to have to go with The Grinch. I've always loved The Grinch.
All right, which one?
The one with, is it Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
Yep, the Jim Carrey one where he's the Grinch. I just think it's hilarious. And I also liked his commitment because he got trained to be in the suit for the Grinch. So I also really liked that I'm like, I know a lot about it, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I do like the Grinch.
All right.
That's a good one and generally underrated in my opinion, and to come in this holiday film countdown. So Evelyn, what is your favorite holiday film?
All-time favorite is Elf.
All right.
I'm sorry, I have to. I love it because it's silly, goofy, and just fun.
It is. We hear it a lot. We
watch
hear it a
that
lot
every
on
year.
this podcast.
Yeah, don't be sorry. It's one of those that just draws you in at any point and you can just pick it up and watch it.
They knew what they were doing.
What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. It's a tradition, honestly. You have to watch it once a year, at least.
All right. A must watch.
We
Yep.
do.
All right. Brooke, is there anything that you would like to promote?
Yeah, I mean, you know, if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, Brooke Stockmaster, Brooke with an E, and Stockmaster how it sounds.
And you, Evelyn, anything to promote?
I would love to promote my Instagram, Evelyn Dryburgh. No underscore, space, nothing. Dryburgh.
Well, thank you for joining us for this discussion of our 39th ranked film, Prancer. Please like, follow, and comment on this podcast.
Yes, please share and spread the word about Holiday Film Countdown. Thank you, Brooke and Evelyn, for joining us. Next week, we're moving on to our 38th ranked holiday film, which will take us to Old Baybrook, Connecticut.